I want to tell you about the worst job interview of my life and how it turned out to be the best thing that ever happened to my career. It was a Tuesday morning in March, and I was sitting in the waiting room of Tech Vision Industries, one of the most prestigious tech companies in the city. I had been preparing for this interview for 3 weeks. This wasn't just any job. This was my dream job, the senior project manager position I had been working toward for 5 years. I arrived 30 minutes early, wearing my best navy blue suit. I carried a leather portfolio with multiple copies of my resume and detailed notes about the company. I felt prepared, confident, maybe even a little excited despite my nervousness. The receptionist offered me coffee while I waited, and I accepted, thinking it would help me stay alert. After 15 minutes, a woman appeared. "Hi, I'm Jennifer Martinez, the Director of Operations. We're ready for you now." I stood up quickly, too quickly. My portfolio slipped from my lap, and in my rush to catch it, I knocked over the coffee mug. Hot coffee spilled across the table, onto my notes, and splashed onto my pants, leaving a large, dark stain right across the front. "Oh no, I'm so sorry," I gasped, my face burning with embarrassment. This couldn't be happening. Not today. Jennifer was gracious. "Don't worry, accidents happen." But the damage was done. My pants were soaked, and my carefully prepared notes were ruined. She offered to reschedule, but I had waited so long for this opportunity. "I'd like to continue if that's okay," I said, trying to sound confident. The conference room was intimidating. 4 people waiting: Michael, the CEO, Sarah, the department head, Tom from HR, and David, a senior project manager. I shook hands with everyone, acutely aware of my coffee-stained pants that everyone was politely ignoring. Michael smiled warmly. "We've all had mornings like that. Let's just have a conversation." But I was already rattled. When Sarah asked me to introduce myself, I stumbled through my answer, forgetting key achievements. My carefully rehearsed responses vanished from my mind. When they asked about handling project crises, I started one story, got confused, and had to start over. Then I accidentally stated my salary expectation as $17,000 instead of $70,000. The awkward correction made everything worse. The final question came from David. "Why do you want to work at Tech Vision?" This should have been easy. I'd rehearsed it 100 times, but I mixed up their mission statement with their competitor slogan. I could see Sarah wince. I stopped mid-sentence. "I'm sorry, I'm completely messing this up. This isn't going how I planned at all." There was an awkward silence. I could tell this interview was over. "Listen," I said, deciding I had nothing left to lose. "I spilled coffee on myself. I've forgotten half of what I wanted to say, and I just confused your mission statement with your competitor's slogan. This is officially the worst interview I've ever had." I laughed nervously. But normally I'm actually really good at my job. I'm organized, prepared, and I don't usually spill coffee in important meetings. Several of them smiled. Michael even chuckled. The truth is, I wanted this job so badly that I put too much pressure on myself. I got so caught up in trying to be perfect that when things went wrong, I fell apart. I took a breath. "I know you're probably not going to hire me after this, but if you could see me on a normal day, managing projects and leading teams, you'd see someone completely different." Jennifer asked, "When the coffee spilled, I offered to reschedule. Why didn't you take that option?" "Because running away from difficult situations doesn't make them better, and I thought I could push through it." Clearly, I overestimated my recovery ability. Michael leaned forward. "Tell me about a real crisis you've managed. Not a rehearsed example, but something that comes to mind right now." Without trying to sound perfect, I told them about a recent project where everything went wrong at the last minute. I talked honestly about my mistakes, the lessons learned, and how the team ultimately succeeded. As I spoke, something shifted. People asked follow-up questions with genuine interest. The conversation became natural and real. Instead of perfect answers, I just talked honestly about my experiences, strengths, and weaknesses. When the interview ended 45 minutes later, I left feeling exhausted and certain I hadn't gotten the job. I went home, changed clothes, and sent a thank you email apologizing for the rocky start. 3 days later, Jennifer called. "We'd like to offer you the position." I was stunned. I'm just surprised. I thought I had blown that interview completely. Jennifer laughed. "After you left, we had a long discussion. What really stood out was how you handled adversity. Most candidates maintain a perfect facade with polished, rehearsed answers, but when your interview fell apart, we saw something more valuable: how you handle when things go wrong." She continued, "Michael said that in this job, things will go wrong regularly. We don't need someone who's perfect when everything goes according to plan. We need someone who can recover when things fall apart, who can be honest about mistakes, and who keeps their sense of humor under pressure. You showed us all of that." David said you reminded him of his own first interview here 10 years ago. He tripped walking in and dropped all his papers. He's now one of our best project managers. He said anyone who can recover from that kind of start and still speak authentically has the resilience this job requires. That was 5 years ago. I've managed dozens of projects at TechVision, led multiple teams, and dealt with countless crises. And that disastrous interview prepared me perfectly for all of it. I learned that perfection is overrated and often fake. What matters is authenticity, resilience, and the ability to recover when things don't go as planned. Sometimes our worst moments become our best opportunities if we show up honestly in the midst of them. The coffee-stained pants became an office joke. On my first day, David left a spill-proof travel mug on my desk with a note, "Just in case." Every year on my work anniversary, someone sends me a coffee-related card. Looking back, I'm grateful the interview went badly. If everything had gone smoothly, they would have met the polished, rehearsed version of me. Instead, they met the real me. Imperfect, but resilient. That experience taught me that vulnerability is not weakness. Sometimes showing your authentic self, even when it's messy, is the bravest thing you can do. Failure and embarrassment aren't endings. They're just plot twists in a longer story. Now, when I help interview new team members, I remember my coffee-stained interview. I look for authenticity over polish, resilience over perfection, and genuine enthusiasm over rehearsed responses. So, here's what I want you to take away. Your worst moments don't define you unless you let them. That interview where everything goes wrong, that presentation where you forget your words, these aren't endings. They're opportunities to show who you really are. Life rarely goes according to plan. Coffee spills, words escape us at crucial moments, but those moments of imperfection, if we meet them with honesty and resilience, can open unexpected doors. The job interview that went wrong turned out to be the interview that went exactly right. It just took me a while to see it that way. Sometimes the path to our dreams is paved with spilled coffee and embarrassing moments. And that's not just okay, it's exactly how it's supposed to be. Thanks you guys for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe if this video helped you. And I will see you in the next story. Bye.